Hi guys, I am Neha Agrawal, the founder of WiseUp Communications. We at WiseUp help students and young professionals improve their communication skills through interactive workshops. Today we have with us Nishant Joshi, a PhD candidate at Radboud University in Netherlands. Before his PhD, Nishant completed his master's from Technical University of Berlin and KTH Institute of Technology in Germany on full tuition scholarship. In this video, Nishant is going to share with us his experience, the scholarship procedures, and why German universities are one of the best places to study in. So, without further delay, let's get started. Hi, Nishant. Thank you so much for joining us. Could you please tell us something about yourself?
Sure, Neha. Thank you for inviting me for the interview. Let's begin with my journey to the PhD program. So, I'm currently working as a PhD student in Donders Institute for Brain Cognition and Behavior in the Netherlands. And previously to that, I did my master's thesis in Forschungszentrum Jülich, which is one of the big research institutes in Europe. But yeah, I was also studying my master's in KTH in Sweden. And also, it was a dual degree program. So, I had studied my first year in TU Berlin. Yeah, and previously to that, I was studying my engineering in RVC, just as you.
Right. Yes. So, Nishant, can you tell us your journey to Germany? So, after RV, how did you go about applying to German institutes? Why did you even decide to go ahead with Germany and not any other country? Can you tell us the entire journey,
Sure,
your
sure.
entire procedure? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I would say that finances were my biggest, deciding block. As you know, that education in Germany is free, and that contains a large part of my decision to actually move to Germany. And also, I'd read a lot about the research, especially in my field of robotics and artificial intelligence. There are a lot of very promising research institutes and professors who work in Germany and are based out of Germany. And so yeah, that was one of the deciding factors. And also I would say the pivotal thing that came to my decision was when I received the scholarship to move to Germany. And if you can get the scholarship to actually live there, then I think you don't have to turn to anything else. Also, I would say that I had applied to a lot of other universities in Europe which I had received admittance from, but they were more on the costly side, which would have been the same if I go to the US or the UK as well. So yeah, I think the scholarship made a big difference in my decision.
Okay, that's good to hear. So, how did you go about applying for these scholarships, and which scholarship did you actually finally get?
Okay, so I would like to describe the program that I was enrolled in. So it's called the EIT Digital Master School, which is like an EU initiative to give students more mobility in their education. So you get exposure from two different universities, and also they provide scholarships, and also they organize some sort of summer schools to actually train you in your research and to be being an entrepreneur as well. So it was really really well organized program. I really liked it. So you have to apply with your letter of motivation. But in this sense, in this case, the letter of motivation contained like an idea you had to propose to the university, to the cohort, which had to be about what you are going to pursue after you finish your degree. So let's say if you want to pursue research, what kind of research would you be more interested in? Or if you want to pursue an entrepreneurial venture, what kind of entrepreneurial venture would that be? And you had to really like make a comprehensive plan about your future. And at the end of that letter, so you had to do it in two pages, and at the end of that letter you had to summarize all your experiences and your motivation as well. And also apart from that, they require the transcripts, your CV, and your two letter of recommendations. That was really important.
All right. So, is getting these scholarships easy? What do you think stood out in your profile that actually made you get the scholarship?
Okay, so I would say that when I was in college, I wanted to do research. That I decided very early on in third year, I guess, that I wanted to pursue my higher education. So I shifted my final year only towards that. So I had taken courses in the fields that I wanted to go in, let's say artificial intelligence or robotics, and all my pre final year project and my final year project were also very concentrated towards robotics. And when I finished my degree, I didn't opt for placements. And instead of that, I had published a paper, which was really awesome and really helpful in getting a research position somewhere, anywhere in Europe or the US as well. And
Right.
so after my degree, I had actually gone on to get an internship in an AI company, which was really surprising that they hired me because I had no experience. I was not a computer science student, but instead I had taken courses online and also had certificates from that. So they were really good enough to hire me, and I got really good amount of exposure working with them and sort of making my profile more towards what I wanted to pursue, which is artificial intelligence and robotics. And that really made a big difference because you see people usually have a very streamlined profile, right? They start with computer science, they do this internship, and they get to a company, and then they move to any universities in the US or the UK or Europe. But in my case, my background was more towards mechanical and industrial engineering. And
Right.
also, I'd taken courses in artificial intelligence just out of my own interest. So there was nothing which was like forcing me to do so.
Right.
And I think the committee actually realized that I had some sort of motivation, and I think the scholarship was just based on that.
Right. So, like, if I try and summarize your entire profile, which went for the scholarship, it would be that you had an undergrad in industrial and engineering management, which is more
Yeah.
like a mechanical engineering based role.
Yeah.
You had taken a lot of courses which were related to robotics and artificial intelligence, which was also the research that you wanted to pursue in those universities, correct?
Yes.
And then you had this internship that you're talking about. Is that right?
Mhm. Yes.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
the summary, more or less.
So
And the
these three
research paper,
things
that is really
and the research paper that you actually published while you were doing your BTech, which a lot of students don't have. And then to top
Yes.
it off, a really good letter of motivation. So
Yes.
that these 5 things combined together, which went for the scholarship application.
Exactly. So I just want to point it out that there was no formal additional scholarship application in this program because they admit you based on your merit rather than if you're not financially sound, which happens to a lot of universities in the Europe. So let's say in Sweden, they give you a scholarship because you are financially challenged in some sense. So they give you a scholarship just based on that rather than your merit. But in this case, they give you scholarship because you have certain sort of experiences and motivation to get it.
Got it. So, the next question that actually comes to my mind is how did you come across these scholarships? What is the kind of research that you did to identify that, okay, these are the scholarships that I can apply to for these German universities?
Okay, yeah. So I think you can start with the DARD website, which is really important. I think
Okay.
most of the German programs are there, and you also get to get scholarships as well. There are scholarship application portals as well. And also, you have to keep looking. You have to. I think I found this out on a Twitter post somewhere, and actually looked within the program and found it to be really interesting. And surprisingly, they had started the autonomous systems cohort just the year that I was applying for the program.
Okay.
Even then, they had a large amount of applicants for the program because artificial intelligence is a promising field. So yeah, that made a big difference. And you have to just keep looking, be active on social media to like actually search for relevant things. And yeah, one of the good strategies is to talk to your seniors when they went through the application procedure because things keep on changing. It's very dynamic in nature, right? So you have to keep on looking on LinkedIn or what your seniors are doing or how they search for it. Yeah, I think that's how I pursued it.
Okay. So, Nishant, do you have some links to these websites or some threads that you referred to that you could probably share with the students? We could
Yeah,
put the
absolutely. I can.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'll actually add those links in the description below for the students and they can have a look.
Sure.
Okay. So, Nishant, having studied in Germany, how do you think the education and the research environment there was different as compared to India?
Okay. Yeah, so it's a very interesting question. So I would say that there is a certain freedom of choice when you go to any European universities. And I would like to clarify this. So it's in the sense that the curriculum becomes your responsibility. So it's not that you will be forced to take a certain amount of courses and just pass the exam and get over with it. It's like you have to really decide what kind of courses you want to take. There are definitely some fixed courses that you have to get in order to get your degree, but those are just like 1/5 of what your degree contains. So there are certain credits which are determined for each semester, but it's not fixed. So you can start with taking like 10 credits in a semester and then prolong your degree by like 5 years if you want to. So people really take their sweet time to actually find out what kind of courses interest them, be it like in art, science, engineering, whatever they want. And they can combine these courses to create their own unique profile, right? Which doesn't happen in India. And also, I would say that there are courses available in the university ranging from philosophy to art to music, which you can actually take part in. Even if you don't get the marks for it or don't get a credit for it, you can just go and sit there.
Okay.
So that is really important, and that really struck out for me because I've never experienced something like that in India. It's impossible, right? And also, I would say that there is no merit-based learning there. So you will not be compared with any other student in your cohort, because some people finish their degree in like 1.5 years. Some people finish in like 5 years. So there's no comparison between your degree and my degree nobody will compare their GPS to yours, because it doesn't really matter, because everybody is running their own pace, right? And people are succeeding and falling on their own pace. And that's really beautiful.
So essentially, the flexibility of the courses and the kind of courses that you can actually take, complete your degree in how much ever time that you want to, something we don't have in India and that German universities are offering.
Yes.
Great to hear that. So Nishant, most of the students, they plan to study abroad because they want to get a nice job there. So what was your reason to go for a PhD after your master's instead of looking for a job?
I would say that before going for my master's, I had already worked in the corporate culture in India, fortunately or unfortunately. And I say that I enjoyed some part of it, but not every part of it. So when I moved for my master's, I'd worked with like some of the great scientists. It really dawned on me that, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. I can't go for corporate world because it's just not meant for me. I've realized that in my master's that, okay, research is something that, even though it is really hard, I would not say it's very easy. It's really hard, but I would rather put my effort into doing that rather than going for a high paying job. So it became really natural for me to apply for a PhD.
Okay. All right. So Nishant, say you did go for a job. So are there job opportunities available in Germany? What kind of jobs are available? And is it easy for Indians to get a job there?
So right now everything is upside down, so I can't say for sure. Don't hold me culprit for it. But I would say that the job prospects in Germany in general are really promising, ranging from law to IT. Everybody has their place in Germany. But if you're working in a non-IT job, things become really hard for people who don't know the language, because you are expected to speak good level of German in order to get those sort of job, which involves like social aspects of it, like interacting people and stuff. But if you're working in IT, you can really well get by without knowing any sort of German. I personally know only like the second level of German. I'm not fluent at all, but it is not really a hindrance for me to get a job in Germany. So in summary, yeah, it is possible, and it is very much possible for Indians to get a job in Germany. Also, I would like to point out that there is not much of a difference between the universities in Germany, because everything has its own place. So let's say you study from TU Darmstadt or TU Berlin. It's not like a 40 to 100% difference in order for you to get a job. Like the companies around universities would prefer to hire you rather than a person from TU Berlin, because they know the university better, and they have seen candidates coming out of those universities. So they would prefer somebody who lives locally rather than somebody who's coming from like a different state.
All right. So that's actually good to hear that there are a lot of job opportunities in Germany. But you didn't mention about the language aspect of it. So this reminds me that when you were studying in the university, was German, not knowing German properly, a language barrier to you?
Sure. Yeah, I had some interesting experiences. So when I went to Germany, I didn't know a single word of German. And even though Berlin is like a really international city, I really had a hard time getting by, because starting from your housemaster to going to the supermarket, you need a certain level of German, at least knowing the names of things and stuff like that. And in the university, everything was in English, so it was not a problem. But your social life and your day-to-day life suffers really if you don't know the language. I would suggest that you should rather learn the language beforehand, or try to enroll in courses just before starting your university. Before starting your program, you can actually go to Germany and study the language for like 3 months and then start your degree. So that makes things easier for people. So I would really suggest if somebody is going to Germany to do that.
Okay, that's good to hear. So, Nishant, one of the major reasons also why people like to study abroad is for the international exposure, right? So, in Germany, how was your international experience like, and how was your social life? Did you get to interact with a lot of foreign students there?
Sure. So it was a really happening experience for me. I mean, I really enjoyed it a lot, my time there. I would say that once you go to a university, you will be given enough opportunities to interact with people outside your ethnicity and stuff like that. This happens when you cook together, like if you have a shared dorm, or if you have taken courses, you'll be assigned in a team. That's where the interaction happens. So I think that is really where you get to meet new people, and then it is up to you how do you carry it forward, right? In my case, I took this option to actually join some courses in the art university where I got to meet really interesting people and made a lot of tons of friends. I'd taken this really small course which was about combining your science knowledge with art and creating something
Okay.
out of it. So I was working with an
Okay.
artist there, and I had made really good friends with him, and we worked on a Nitinol robot. It was one of the best experiences that I had.
This artist was from?
He's a German artist.
He's German
Yeah,
artist. Okay.
yeah. So I had really made good friends with him, and to really open your like the range of experiences by maximizing the activities that are happening in the campus. Right, you have to really look for things which are not given in your curricula. You have to find
Mm.
it on Facebook or the university websites. They have these kind of things which can really benefit you in terms of your social or university life, because at the end it's all about making friends and gaining that exposure that you didn't get in India, right? So you have to
Correct.
really talk to the locals and make friends with
Correct.
them in order to get these things.
Get that experience. Absolutely. Yes. All right, Nishant, thank you so much for joining us today. It was wonderful speaking to you, and I'm sure a lot of students are going to get help from your experience. If there was like one final piece of advice that you would like to give to students aspiring to study in Germany, what would that be?
One piece of advice. Okay, so I would say that you have to really maximize your university experience by joining courses or taking courses which are beyond your comfort level
Mm.
in order to really gain something out of it and sort of push yourself towards learning something new, which is why we go to these sort of universities, right?
Yes.
It's at the end, it's all about gaining the experience and learning something new out of it. And also, I would say that you have to take the burden on yourself rather than the
Mm.
university, because in the university there are like 30,000 students and nobody is there to actually care for you. So you have to really take the responsibility on yourself to maximize your learning experience, be it going to social clubs, be it taking classes, be it passing exams. It's all
Right.
upon you. So you have to
Yes.
really work hard and enjoy it a little bit.
All right. That was great to hear. Thank you so much once again, Nishant, for joining us. It was lovely having you.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.